stars, moon, and numbers. And clairvoyant mediums also come in handy in these times, such as the one on my left, Rebecca Fearing, and the astrologist on my right, Kyle Thomas. We also have another special medium coming all the way from Australia who will be speaking to shortly, Calise Simone, and a pre-tape with some predictions from the beautiful and talented Jen Schaffer. So sit back and I'll be engineering and let's get on with the show. Yay. Okay, so today, Kyle, I guess Kyle's going to work with a mask on. Have you been in quarantine, Kyle?
I mean, I have. I've literally been seeing no one except my boyfriend and my roommate since, what was it, like March?
Oh, wow.
But I just want to be careful.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fine to take it off if everyone feels that it's all good.
It's all up to you.
But
We have a no shaming mask policy here. If with mask or without mask, it's all however you want to fly.
yeah, I mean, it is really hot. So
I know, and everything's been sterilized and cleaned, and we've all been in quarantine.
Perfect.
But and just don't spit on Rebecca, and I won't let her spit on you, and we should be okay.
Well, I've been tested already, so I know I don't have it, so I'm good, but I'm not going to spit anyway.
So, Rebecca, pull the mic a little closer to your face.
Okay. Is that good?
And yeah, a little closer if you can. Can you figure that out? Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to thank all of you guys for coming in. I know traffic's starting to pick up, and the art of Zoom is just so incredible now that everybody wants to do that. But I just wanted to see Rebecca. She's looking very beautiful, and also we have the opportunity to have Calise Simone in the studio with us too. Hi, Calise.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Thanks for having me.
I don't know if all of you guys have done prediction shows except for Kyle, right, with us?
I mean, I've done plenty of prediction shows, just not with you guys. So this is such an honor, and I'm so excited.
I know, it's really cool. So over the years, if you go back through my catalog, you'll find that we've done prediction shows in the past. Usually we do them at the beginning of the year, and right now is sort of a better time because everybody has so many questions about so many things going on in today's society, and with the political situation coming up, the election, what's the fate of COVID-19 going to be? Are we going to be in lockdown forever? Are we going to be back? Are we going to stay out? Are we going to get to go to a football game? That's like a question everybody's had on most of the men in my our feeds. But we also like to talk a little bit about the economy. You know, what's going to happen. A lot of people want to know about that. We just thought we kind of touch on all those bases, and then I give each one of the psychic mediums a wild card. So if they want to talk about something that is, on their mind, then, what's been eating them in the middle of the night, in their sleep, I don't know, whatever comes to mind. But we're going to start with Calise because she's just getting started with her day. And Calise, what is it? Oh, and also I have some tape messages from Jen Schaffer as well, just in case we want.
Thank you.
We want to compare and contrast some of our things. So, anyways, take it away, Calise Simone.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I'd be really interested to hear what you guys pick up because, these predictions kind of go around in my head and it's lovely to have an opportunity to discuss them with other psychics and other mediums. But one of the first topics I wanted to dive into was COVID because that's what's going on right now. It's such a huge issue for everyone. Susan, I don't feel we'll be in quarantine forever. I do feel the disease is going to whip around for 2 to 3 years. That's what I've always felt. I feel like there is going to be a vaccine, but I feel like it's coming later on. There's a treatment first. And there was a lot of talk in the news about dexamethasone as something that they can use. But I feel there's one more, whether it's an antiviral or something a bit more specific. I feel there's going to be some kind of antidote that stops people from dying if they get that treatment. So I do feel very positive about that. I also took a little bit of a look into the broader future. And I feel like in 10 years, we'll look back and say, wow, I can't believe we didn't have a treatment. I can't believe people would die from something like this. And now you don't hear about it anymore. However, be careful because I also feel there's another outbreak of something coming and it's not going to be COVID. It's going to be something else, whether it's another disease or something, maybe another strain. And I feel like I want to say to people, keep your PPE. Hopefully this doesn't happen. Hopefully I'm wrong. But I feel like in maybe 5 or 6 years from now, within the next 10 years, we will see this again. Whether it's to this degree, I can't say specifically, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be the same. It might be a little worse. It might be not as bad, but it feels like there's another one where you're going to want that PPE. So don't throw it away. Keep your masks, unfortunately. I also feel like when the vaccine hits, it's going to be just in time. So either there's going to be some kind of second wave, some kind of mutation, or some kind of change in the environment where the vaccine will hit just in time. And I do feel that will save a lot of lives. The developing world, unfortunately, I feel is still going to get hit. I don't feel we've seen the end of that. That's probably the most interesting things.
Could you say that again?
COVID.
What was that last one? It was really fast. The
Oh, I'm
developing
sorry.
world?
The developing world is still going to get hit because I had images of people in an outdoor setting praying, like really distressed. So I don't know if it was like a Hindu setting or a Muslim setting, but it felt like it was outdoors in, a big area. It was a gentleman and he was praying. And I just felt like there's other countries in the world that are still going to get hit pretty badly.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds, they are saying that some of these, Fauci just came out and said that some of these medications are helping people with advanced. So they're moving along fast with the the needle in your arm. Yeah, the inoculation. And so
Vaccines. Yeah.
vaccine. Yeah. So there is that is moving along. It's just a matter of how it's going to hit us in the fall. Are we going to, be back in lockdown? It's just a matter of
I've
whether
written
people...
here, yeah, there's another turning point still to come for the US. Be careful.
Yeah.
What, do you have
And I really hope.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do you have kind of a time frame idea of? I mean,
Oh yeah, it's sort of around November in 2020.
okay.
I feel like before the end of the year, there's going to be another turn, another backlash. I see another wave of hospitalizations around January of 2021, and I feel like it's going to peter out quite a bit after that. But I really feel like hopefully it's the same thing and it's not like another disease. But I feel like there's a lot going on over the winter in the US that's still to come. I don't feel it'll be as bad as the first wave, but I feel like the US hasn't seen the end of this yet.
How do you feel, Rebecca?
Well, because I was in my own way divinely kind of guided from the very beginning, and I had the message. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not saying anything about me being a medical expert, but I was told to get nasal spray. So before all this really hit, I went out to CVS and got nasal spray for everyone. I also had a very unusual message because I get people that know me. I have strange things that happen on my phone. So Rebecca, and I have that message saved still. So Rebecca, coronavirus, terrible. Get nasal spray. So
What kind of nasal spray?
Saline, just saline nasal spray.
Okay.
And it makes sense because at the time I didn't know that it made sense, but it can get in your nasal cavities. So when I'm going to go out in a crowd, I spray some nasal spray, and also cayenne pepper. And so my thing is here, it's not gone yet. It's not. I never said it would be gone in May. I always said maybe the earliest August when things would start lightening up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to lighten up at all really until after 2021. So look, at what we have to do is just pay attention. Wear your mask. Don't be paranoid, but wear your mask. Do what they say to do. Social distance. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to say, look, we just need to do what we need to do. And we have seen that states or counties that haven't adhered to that there are COVID-19 rising. I actually have known people that have this. So it's not like I think it doesn't exist, because I do know people that have it and have had it.
It definitely exists.
Right.
It's definitely real.
It's just a matter of when we'll have a vaccination. We agree with you. I'm going to show you a clip from Jennifer.
Completely agree, Rebecca.
Schaffer.
Yeah, and I have another thing that I'll say about this after.
Really quick.
Yeah.
All right, another one of my predictions has to do with what everyone's dealing with the coronavirus. I do feel like towards the end of September and October, we are going to have probably another lockdown. It doesn't feel good in October. It just doesn't. And again, I don't know if that has to do with it because we're testing more people. That's just what I'm getting. But I'm also getting in November that there's going to be something that everybody can do. I don't know if it's like a wristband or if it's, kind of like right now, people are getting, we get our thermometer checked, checks our temperature, It's going to be something that is going to qualify us to go do things. And that feels very strong in November. It's just what I'm getting.
Well, my take is like this, guys. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I did some research on some hits I was getting, and I've said now, for me, I think it's a blood virus. That doesn't mean it is, but it affects your plasma. Plasma affects your insulin. Plasma affects your blood clotting.
Right.
So, and they just said the other day, my son says, Rebecca, don't tell mom that. Mom, don't tell people that, because he's like,
She's
you're
not a doctor.
And people are going to get mad. I said, no, look, I know it has something to do with the plasma.
It does. The cytokine storm
Right.
causes the blood to, clot, and then it causes the lungs to fill up and not have,
Right.
Okay. But the point is, I kind of agree with Jennifer, there's going to be a huge tracking system, maybe that goes into effect where we have to, if we've had the virus, we'll be able to go out and have a wristband, and the rest of us, if we have pre-existing conditions, may have to stay home and, and wait it out or something especially in New York or somewhere like that. But it's just who knows what they're going to come up with by November,
I don't know if they can even do that for privacy laws.
I know. It sounds
but we could do. You never know.
Well, it's like sort of like martial law. It's like, do you have your papers? You can go on the subway if you have your papers. And it. It may get to that point. But anyways, let's move on. I wanted. Did you have anything else that you'd like to address, Calise?
Just real quick on a slightly, which I'm not sure if it's a related note or unrelated note, but I did also see an infection in a water supply going unnoticed for quite a while. And it seemed like a separate issue to COVID, but it could be something where there's contamination in the food or contamination in the water supply, because I definitely felt it was traveling through freshly picked, something to do with COVID being in food, whether it's apples and oranges or lemons, or it was just something where it was in the food. And so I feel like we'll get a wave of that. And then something about a disease in a water supply, whether or not that one's COVID, I couldn't tell, but I definitely felt COVID, world domination of politics, and then a huge wave of love in the world. So that's going onto a different topic, and I'm not sure where you want to go from here.
Well, that's interesting. Was that your wild card? Your
Kind of. I saw an earthquake in a hot and dry location in the developing world. I saw an infection in a water supply, and I saw something really funny about Trump. Do you mind if I bring it up real quick?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Okay, just very, very quickly. I saw Trump in the shadows. So I thought, okay, I don't know if that means he's going to get elected and just become less prominent or if he's going to move away from politics. But I saw Trump in the shadows and then opening a community space like Trump World, where it's either like a series of malls or like a fun park or something where everyone goes to celebrate Trump. And I thought that was really, really funny. It just made me laugh because it just felt so random.
That sounds like something he might do. That's interesting. Do you pick up on anything like that? What are your thoughts on the election, Rebecca? Who do you think's going to win the election?
You have to remember that when I predict something, it's not necessarily my opinion. I just look to see. I thought that he would, in the first 4 years, he would stay in, of course. The second term, though, I didn't think he would. So it's not that I don't like Trump or I do like Trump, but I'm feeling like it looks like he's headway and then he doesn't. He doesn't make it. And I really don't even know if he really wants to be in there. He might, but I don't know. So I'm just going to say that I do not believe if Trump is going to get in again.
Oh, really?
And no. But you know what? People have to get out and vote for who they like. You got to get out there. You know, you want Trump, then vote. If you want, the other gentleman.
By the way, get out and vote, okay? If you don't want Trump in office, quit complaining about it and just go out and vote.
Yeah, I'm telling people to take the bull by the horns and go out and vote. Make a change. Use your voice, right?
Yes. And what about you,
Yes,
Calise?
it's a privilege to
Maybe
vote.
you
It's
see
an
him.
absolute privilege to vote.
You see him.
Sorry.
See him changing his business into a new Wally World.
I see him going back into business, and in line with what Rebecca said, that would make sense that if he didn't get elected, that's why we keep seeing, or I keep seeing these impressions of him going out into
Maybe.
business. And we spoke about this in 2016, and a lot of us were very uncertain that he would get in just in general. And
Right.
we all spoke about half, like, was it 6 months he'd be kicked out? Was it halfway through his term he'd be kicked out? But then I thought about it and I thought,
Everybody
well,
thought he'd
if
get
there's a
impeached.
double term, yeah, maybe it's that he only makes it through one of the terms, and then he just doesn't get reelected for the second term. So we will have to wait and see, but I definitely saw him going into other projects in the future and getting back into the business world.
Can I just say something really quickly? There's a story about Trump that I came upon, somebody sent, and it was about a revival that happened in another area. I think it might have even been another country. And it had to do with, I think, his great aunts on his mother's side. And they were praying for a miracle, which they got, and they had this Bible. Okay, so the niece moved to America, and her aunts sent her the Bible. Well, that happened to be Trump's mother. And that Bible that created that miracle is said to be in the White House with Trump. It's just an interesting side sort of story that I think a lot of people don't know, but there's a whole video about it. And I did some research. It seems like it's true. So he has this Bible in the White House that's fairly miraculous, that came from a revival from these two very old great aunts of his. So interesting, is it? And why things happen. Whether you like Trump or not, was it God's mysterious way of making change? How do we know? But that's my take on Trump.
Interesting. I'm going to show you a clip from Jen.
So one of my predictions about politics, I was looking into it. I've been looking into it for a while. I do feel like Biden is going to win. But what was interesting, what came to me today, I got a picture of Hillary Clinton, and I'm like, okay, she won the popular vote. And I actually feel like Trump might win the popular vote. Again, these are predictions. I predicted him to win the last time that he was elected. And that was when everybody was running. And I'm like, there's no way. And he won. So I just kind of have to go with it. And I think it's going to come down to either 5 states or if the 5th district, something dealing with the 5. Just putting that out there.
So, yeah. Okay. So, Kyle, you've been sitting here watching, and you're the astrologer who sees numbers and stars and planets as your guide.
The
and
cosmos.
You're a little bit clairvoyant as well. We know that. But how do you we're going to move on to football next after I let Calise go, but just sort of give us an idea of why this is sounding all similar. They're all having the same ideas.
Well, I actually really agree with a vast majority of everything that's been stated so far. In the astrology that I have been seeing, I actually am now one of the astrologers for Astrology.com and Horoscope.com, and I was asked to make coronavirus predictions for the next 6 months. And the big thing that I focused upon was that Mars is the planet of strength and vitality. It is going into Aries literally from June 27th until January 6th of 2021. That's a very long time for this energy to be expressed within our lives. And naturally, we as a human race are ruled by Aries because that is the birth of the human race. And the big thing here is that that also affects our international and collective health. So the big thing about that is when Mars is going into Aries, we will all feel stronger. We'll definitely feel much more energy throughout, pretty much July, August, and then into September. However, there is a major retrograde that is going to take place in Aries as well. And that takes place from September 9th, yes, until November 14th. So there's this huge pocket in time where all of our strength is being taken away from us. And that's something that we've all been talking about here. And interestingly enough, during this time, Mars is going to be having some very powerful clashes with the planets, which also discusses some things like martial law, which is one thing that you brought up before, as well as the impulsivity of us as a collective race as well.
Right.
So the thing that I think is really interesting here is that there are other facets that occur because of Mars and Aries collectively for us, and that makes us more impulsive, more intense. We are focused more on our independence, and this is going to make people very selfish. And the thing that's going to be happening is that while we are feeling much stronger during this summer period and into the fall, that is also because several of the planets that are ruling the coronavirus, which would be Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter, they are retrograde. They're asleep. And the world is feeling that this, I actually was hiking the other day and people were calling it a scamdemic. People are thinking that it's disappearing. They are thinking that they are impervious to it. And this is one of the flaws of Aries. They have this feeling of invincibility. And
sorry about the earbuds.
It's okay. And this is something that we will all be dealing with. We're feeling, focused on how the coronavirus is affecting us in our personal bubble. Have we been affected? Have, people in our families been affected? Who is the true person to believe at this time? And so in this article, which you can actually Google online, it is called Mars in Aries and what it means for coronavirus. It is all over the internet. I have some very specific dates that I was talking about with the clash as well. And the first thing here is that there is a time when Mars is going to be amping up our indulgence and making us much more hasty, no matter what your zodiac sign is. And this is a clash with Jupiter. And this means you are going to overestimate your strength, your health, and your resources. The time when this is going to happen is roughly around August 4th.
Sounds good.
It's coming up. And then also around October 19th. This is a very important time for us to be aware that, yes, we can feel strong. And yes, we can, be, energized to take control of our lives and, charge on and conquest what we want. But this can actually create dire circumstances for us, particularly during that retrograde of Mars, which, like I said, is from September until November. Another major thing that I want to point out here is that Mars is going to clash with Saturn, which represents there's a huge obstacle to your goal in your personal life. Sometimes this represents that we have to fight harder to get the things that we want, but this also represents clashes with authority. And the thing about this is that I already know by looking into what has happened already is this represents increased restrictions. There are going to be more restrictions that are placed by governments all over the world. And there is obviously going to be a varying degree of, which countries are more affected by this, because every country has a different natal chart. But this is going to happen pretty uniformly. We are going to have to deal with how our freedom is essentially being imposed upon. And with Mars being in Aries, it's going to create conflicts and major problems. I'm also very cautious of some warlike energy that can happen during Mars retrograde. Some wars do actually begin. And this is something I want to be very, cautious of. I'm not saying that there's going to be a world war. I don't think that there's going to be a world war. That's not being triggered. But
good.
there is a war that is happening in every single person's life
Yes.
because of this.
And a civil war.
Yeah, the next, which actually I want to talk about major political predictions in a bit, but just to kind of taper off with this, the next major thing that I want to touch upon is Mars clashing with Pluto. Pluto represents extreme power struggles, extreme confrontations, and can show ruthless, wicked actions as well as death.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Oh, thank you for coming. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
And
No, but wait. Before we move on, Kyle, keep that.
okay,
Remember
yeah.
where you were. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So, Calise, I know you have a hard out at 6:00.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I have to.
but
I have to-
I really, since you don't know anything about football,
Oh, yes.
I don't know. Did you come up with any football predictions, or who's gonna win?
No, I didn't know
Is there
if
gonna
I
be
had
football?
time to do it.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
as
All
soon
right.
as you said football, I asked Spirit, I'm like, show me what I need to know. And they said it's a surprise win. I wouldn't, so that makes me feel like it could be another underdog situation, but the team that wins doesn't expect to win.
Oh, let's just hope we have football this year, and
Yeah.
whether or not the
Will there be
college
football
teams
this
will get
year?
to play too, which is so sad. But if we're
Yeah,
protecting the
There's
better
something about it
good.
next.
Wait, say it again.
There's something very prestigious around it. Like, it's not going to be a traditional football season. They're either going to do it where it's from like games with no crowds, or they're going to skip a season. It's not going to be a normal season. Yeah, definitely not.
Well, I'll let you go on that. I'll play Jennifer's tape, but I'll see if Rebecca can come up with a winner of the Super Bowl, but or if we'll have a Super Bowl. But thank you so much for joining us. And next time, stay a little longer, and we'll do
I
some
would love
readings.
to. I'm so sorry
I'm
about
so glad
this.
that it's like daytime for you when we're doing our show. So I'm not doing it when you're asleep in Australia. But you can find Calise at CaliseSimone.com. She's amazing. I've known her for years. She lived in New York forever and then moved to Australia when this all broke out.
Oh no, I'm coming back to New York. It's okay.
are?
I'll be back.
Okay,
soon.
good. Well, hopefully in the stage 3 will open up pretty
Okay.
soon. But look forward to seeing you again in person, and have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I want to, Rebecca, did you look into sports at all? I know that Sherman likes football, so I'm pretty sure.
He does, but I
You like
don't.
football, right?
Although I have predicted the winners several years in a row, even this year. Well, when we had it, I guess this year, right? I wish I would have put 10 grand down on my win, because I would have had a lot of money. But I did win again this year. But this is what I'm saying. I don't think that we'll have the crowds in the arenas right now. That would be foolish. People get sick. We want to protect the players. I see something in the future that they do have the arenas, but they might have, how they have that plastic in front, that they've done something to make the arenas safer so you can go, but yet you're not infecting everybody around you. I don't know if they'll be able to play this time like we do, but I do. Who are the Bulls? Where are the Bulls coming in? Is that football?
That's
Football.
basketball.
That's basketball?
Oh, okay. Well, there's something with the Bulls. I guess I'm going over to basketball. I think the Bulls might do good this year, and
Okay.
it's a problem because some of the players have gotten the COVID-19, and so we're gonna have sports, but they're gonna do it where, like I said, maybe the
They
arenas,
can protect people.
Yeah. Yes.
Of course. That makes total sense. That's
I
total
see
sense.
the way the arenas are, and they're different. They've made them different. They've made them safer. You might have to get your temperature checked when you come in, and all the kind of whatever we should do. So yes, sports will stay alive, and the Bulls. I don't know who likes basketball out there, but look to see what the Bulls.
Chicago.
Oh, it's Chicago.
Chicago.
Oh, okay. I like Chicago.
So we have two parts of Jennifer's prediction.
All right, football. I love it. So I do feel like they will be playing football. They'll start playing football in September. Now, it looks different. So I'm getting that they're going to have, like, instead of going from place to place, that there'll be like a group of different places that they'll play all the games. So they'll have, I don't know, at least through October, they'll go to different places to play, but it'll only be like, let's just say like 5 of the biggest arenas that they'll use to have the teams, because they'll have a system in place that will make it okay for them to be there. And so instead of having them travel to each city, in each state, they won't be doing that, because I think I don't feel that that's what's going to happen right away. What do you think about football? It was really interesting seeing the different arenas and having like 5 of them. I think it's going to be more than that, but like having them go in, because they'll have a protocol that'll make it better. Does that make sense?
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense to what I saw with the arenas looking like they're different. But I will tell you this, who wears the blue and the silver in football? I know that's football. Does anybody know the uniforms that are blue and silver?
A lot of them. Patriots? No. Patriots? Did I call that one? Thank you, Sherman.
Yeah, maybe the Patriots will do good this year. I'll say a little bit with the Eagles, but they'll play, but they'll organize it differently. And
she called somebody out, and I cut the clip. I can't remember who it was. I don't think I wrote it down.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're not losing sports, baseball, football.
Well, it's interesting if they can somehow get it into arenas. There's not a lot of travel time, because that you can get infected and flying, and
right.
And that would be a way to, and then they could have testing centers, and just, I don't know. It just seems, I hope they can make it work, I'm worried about college football, because that may not even happen.
Yeah, that may not happen. It'd be a little difficult. It's that they don't have as much big money, and so somebody's already out there trying to decide. I see them in their minds. How could we make the arenas safer? How could we go to maybe a common destination where everybody doesn't have to go too far? So if you look at the different teams, and maybe it's in the middle of the country somewhere where everybody has a very, like a 2-hour flight or something that's not that far to go.
Drew said Detroit Lions are silver and blue. Oh, he's listening.
Oh, thanks, Drew. Okay.
I can't remember who cut it off. I'll have to play it at the end again. She said it, and it clicked it. Let me ask her. But okay, so what do you say we take a call?
Yeah.
And then we'll get back to, we're going to continue our conversation about the astrological retrogrades and the Taurus and the Capricorns and having 2 bulls up my butt. So that's what Drew said. He said, "Oh, I knew I had 2 bulls up my butt. What a bad year." So you're gonna have to explain that. Some people are. So let's see if we can find somebody here. A good question for you guys. We can do a reading. Let's see. What is this one? Here's a good. That's an interesting one. Ozzy? Hello, Ozzy? Oh, yeah. Hello, Ozzy?
Hey, Susan.
How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You're here with Rebecca Fearing and Kyle Thomas, and what is your question?
Pleasure, Rebecca. Pleasure, Kyle. And pleasure. I just forgot your name now. I just freaked out. I know you so well. I forgot your name. The host.
Susan Pinsky.
Susan. Pleasure, Susan. Okay, so I'll be fast. Sorry. Since January 2020, a lot of stuff's been happening to me in a good way. I just started remembering a lot of things that I knew as a kid that were like facts, like big facts. And then I started lucid dreaming, and then I started just doing a couple other things. And then I think I had, from what I'm researching, like a Kundalini awakening. And so I have a lot more clairvoyance. I'm getting a lot of messages. I understand that they're not like fear thoughts or anything, because I don't have fear of anything anymore. I basically remember there's no hell and there's no devil, which I never thought there was in the first place. But I guess I'm scared about all of this and I don't know what to do next. What would be what's a good step next when you want to embrace it, but you're freaked out and you're already a really high spun person in a good way. Like I'm very, very positive and stuff, but I used to take a lot of medication for what was diagnosed as like various things. And I haven't been since January because I started to feel medicated.
Okay. So what do you think?
So I slowly weaned off. I was taking Wellbutrin and Adderall, and I've been taking them forever. And I'm an adult. I'm like 38.
Yeah.
So, and they always gave it to me because my blood pressure was really low. So because my vital signs are always like not indicative of
okay.
spazzing
All right,
out.
you're giving
because
too
I did
much
have ADD.
information. Let's let the spirit guide you.
Well, I'll go really quickly and then give Kyle a time. I hear this often. When a person is highly psychic and they don't recognize it, it can be very disturbing to not only their psychic but their physical body, because it is a lot to handle. I was born like this, but I do have to be very careful of what I observe from other people. For example, I'm in the Marmalade Cafe. I'm just sitting and we're going to have breakfast. I think Sherman was with me. And I literally have nothing in my mouth, but I start choking to death. Okay? So I'm like, oh my God, somebody. Yeah. And it wasn't me because I had nothing in my mouth. Then I said, oh my God, somebody in this restaurant choked to death. So I asked the waiter, and I was right. A man had choked to death, probably not far from where I was sitting. So what I took on that as my own, okay? So what you're doing, you're highly sensitive. I'm glad you went to the medical world because you have to look at that also, okay? I always go first to the medical world.
I did therapy for like 10 years on and off, just so you guys know. I'm really into my head.
Yeah, don't stop taking your medications. Like, make sure your doctor tells you.
Can I be honest? They were making me feel like I was on medication, and I feel so much more balanced and calm and in control of my heart and mind now.
You got to, because you can't.
Right.
You can't.
You're right. No, you're right.
I mean,
agree.
Maybe it is time to get off the Adderall, but you just have to, or the Wellbutrin, but, make sure you check with your doctor.
Right. I want to show you very quickly.
Yeah, I did wean myself off.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time here.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But I'm going to teach you how to use your psychic ability in 5 minutes, okay? It'll take you 2 seconds, okay? I'm a master at this, okay? So when you look at me, well, let's take Kyle, okay? Look at Kyle right now, okay? Kyle, you'll be able to validate what she says.
On the screen?
Yes. And you don't know a lot about Kyle, right? You never met him before or anything, right? Correct?
No.
Okay, when you're looking at Kyle, what color is his aura? Now just say the first thing that comes in your mind, the very first color. What is his aura?
Purple.
Great, okay?
That's a purple.
And you know what it means? It means that you have psychic ability, Kyle, which we know. Purple is for psychic, okay? Now, is it lighter or
I can't hear you. I'm so sorry.
You got to talk into the mic, not away from it.
Is it dark or light purple?
Dark?
Okay, then he does have
I don't know.
psychic ability.
I'm not looking at him anymore.
Yeah. Not only is
tired.
not only is he a good astrologer, and do you feel psychic, Kyle? Can you answer that question?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And you're a good astrologer. You're an excellent astrologer because you also use your
psychic ability.
Right. So you're 100%, Ozzy. Okay. Now, when you're looking at Kyle, look at through his purple aura. Let's get deeper into Kyle. I didn't even ask him if it was okay.
No, it's not.
Sorry.
Bring it on. I love you.
Okay. So what you're going to do is, what name do you see coming through that aura? Now, this is where you're going to use your ears, your clairaudient, or you could just see the name.
Michael?
Okay, Michael. Do you have a Michael close to you at all? It's a common name.
No, but I pray to Archangel Michael all the time.
Okay, so that makes sense. He does.
That's exactly what I was thinking was Archangel Michael.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was.
Right.
Nice.
So, see, that's what you got.
You like him, or you guys have a bond?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super connected to the archangels. I always have been.
Oh.
All right, and see what you do. When you feel something, you say exactly what you say. You have to be, you're not used to doing this, but you're 100% A+. So what you want to do, the lighter, the brighter aura, great. Deep emotions. You see dark energy. Have you ever met somebody where you go, man, they got a black energy. I do not want to be around them. It's because they have a dark energy.
I dry heave the moment I look at people sometimes. I'll say hi.
Yeah.
Literally.
Right. So do this. Pay attention. Write a journal, what you feel. When just write a journal about your emotions and what's going on with you. And like I said, and Susan's right, talk to your medical doctor
Yes.
about stopping your medications in case you're doing it too quick. But I think that part of your problem, and again, I'm not a doctor, is that you're highly sensitive and didn't know what was happening to you.
Right.
So now you know, we've addressed
I went to the
it.
doctor because I was dry heaving around people. Exactly. And they
Yeah.
said you have anxiety disorders. Sorry for talking over you.
Here, have some Xanax.
No.
Yeah, don't do that though. But yeah, so talk to your
My heart is like
your
100 beats per minute.
psychologist
Sorry.
about your intuitiveness, and that's really important that you connect to that with your therapist, and then you talk to your psychiatrist and discuss what the psychologist said, and make sure but don't be afraid of your ability. You may be really sensitive. You might be a good judge of character because of it. You might be. There's so many good things about you that you have to remember come from being intuitive. So
Absolutely.
just do that. And
Oh no, I think I'm amazing. I just don't ever think there was anything wrong with me. I think I was freaked out by things that I wasn't aware of, and people said there's
Good.
something wrong with you because I said there's no devil, there's
Well,
no hell, and we live forever. Don't
you
worry.
really can't.
And
It's
people
sort
said
of
I was
like
nuts. They put me on
politics.
medicine.
It's like politics. Sometimes you just don't say anything.
Well,
I
you
know
what?
now. I feel the same way right now, you guys. I bet you guys feel like that all the time. You just want to tell somebody
Rebecca
something. You're like,
doesn't
I'm
care.
about to get punched in the face if I say it.
I asked
Yeah.
Rebecca if she wanted to do a prediction show because some of the psychics were not into it, and she goes, I said, yeah, they're worried about their brand. She goes, I'm not worried about my brand. She was like, I'll do it.
Yeah, because you know what? I can call heaven with the cell phones. If that's not the craziest thing you
She's
ever
got
saw.
the craziest phone.
Yeah, but I have.
Can I ask?
Unusual things.
We got to
that
move
happen.
on to the
Sorry.
next caller. So
Yeah.
I'd love to
Okay.
take more. But
Can I just ask one thing? It's a yes or no.
okay.
Yes.
Is it right when you have that, without a doubt, no matter how nuts that thought is, but when you know without a doubt and you're solid and permanent and comfortable and you don't have to share, that's the correct intuition, right?
Absolutely, yes. And you know, you can
Okay.
get my phone number. I'm all over the internet under Rebecca Fearing. Call me. I can, I'm not going to be available for about the next 6 weeks or so. But if you call, I will walk you through some of this.
Yeah.
And I will make you feel comfortable
Go to
with it.
RebeccaFearing.com and sign up.
Yeah.
We will make sure you may be
Appreciate all
back
three of
sooner
you.
than you expect.
Thank you for handling my energy. I'll get away from you now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Ozzy.
Appreciate you.
You too. I appreciate you.
It's so funny. So funny. She was good. So when you hear something like that, Kyle, what do you immediately think? Like, how do you?
Well, the thing is, I mean, I definitely am looking at the transits of what is triggering something at any given time. Interestingly enough, Mercury retrograde is happening right now.
Yes, we
And
know.
Mercury is, all about the mind and creates all of those problems when it comes to technology, our communications, and the way that we are communicating with other people.
Sure.
And the thing is, right now, it's taking place in Cancer. So the first thing I would check with her is, what is her sign? What is activating these certain sort of awakenings
Right.
at this point in time? But then again, collectively, I can talk about how we are all being activated. Cancer is a zodiac sign that is water. And then when we have a planet that is all about logic going backwards in a water sign, which is all about emotions and intuition, everyone's intuition is alive right now. So it's really important to listen to the messages and then internalize it, think about it, so that when the planet moves forward again, more happily and energetically, you can enact it in much more.
Do you guys think that
easily way.
because we've all been in lockdown and together in our homes with our families, and we haven't been in our cars, we haven't been going 5,000 different directions as mothers and going from the ice rink to the basketball court to the, with the radio on and the whatever, we're all finding a center now that's a little bit brings out a little bit more of our intuitiveness, because we spend a little more time outside on the back porch listening to the birds or reading a book.
Yes, and what I've seen, sorry to cut you off, Susan, is that people are having a lot of dreams,
Yeah.
a lot of lucid dreams. Did you
Yeah.
hear that too?
Of course,
And
yeah.
they're just going crazy with the dreams. So I think that our minds, because we don't have so much to do, that our minds are working in a direction of, I think people should write down their dreams.
Yeah,
Dream journal, right?
I had a dream the other night about Howard Lapidus. Remember him? You went to his funeral.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody wanted to call in tonight. He goes, is it a live show? Am I going to call in? What am I supposed to do? He's afraid. So I'm going to bring this up right now because I just sent him the Periscope link. So when there were two people that we thought about, John Ferreter and Howard Lapidus, when this whole thing went off. And they were our mentors. You know, they told us how to run Hollywood and what to do and how to be. And Howard, you knew Howard. He helped you, and he came through at his funeral, and you talked to his son and stuff. But I had a dream the other night. Maybe I should have you talk first, but I had a dream. I was seating a big venue, like a football stadium, and it was the Buffalo Bills. And I know the Buffalo Bills were a big team of Howard's, but I got him 2 rows to himself. I guess it was like a social distancing thing, or the seats hadn't, or it was just VIP. But he was in my dream as clear as a bell, and I was helping him, and he was very excited about his seats. But what do you think Howard would do or say in this? I mean, if I could just talk to Howard for 5 minutes, I would be so happy.
Well, let's see what he can say. I can talk to him. I've already had some experiences where, and I do believe when you saw such a large amount of room for him, that you probably saw what I saw. And Howard was saying, look, let's not stop having fun and this, but let's do what they say. Let's social distance and let's do it a safe way. Mm-hmm. I could see him saying that. So maybe what you saw was the distance between where people are sitting in an environment, in an arena. Maybe his Buffalo Bills will do really great this year. That's somebody who, I wouldn't have thought about, but again, I don't know a whole lot about
They
football.
did okay last year. They almost made it to the Super Bowl.
Right. So let's say that dream.
Of course, they were terrible when he was alive, and then when he died, they almost went to the Super Bowl.
Because he's probably helping them there.
I thought so too.
Yeah. So that's what you saw. I think this was a visitation from Howard. I don't think it was just a dream. He showed you how the arenas are going to look. That you have to sit maybe a seat away from each other, or a whole bench away from each other.
Yeah.
Maybe they only let a certain amount of people in. So I think Howard said his team's going to do good, and that's how it's going to go with the social distancing.
But what do you think he would like? Mm-hmm. We all feel lost without him in a crisis. It's kind of funny.
Well, he was such an expert because Howard was highly psychic too.
Yes, he was a psychic. He's the reason why we have this show. He gave me this show through Corolla Studios, so that's how we knew that he was psychic.
He's laughing and so hard. You're going to think I'm so crazy, but Howard is so funny because he's eating right now.
Oh, good.
And he told me, Susan, they had the most amazing food up here in heaven, and and he has the most beautiful juicy pickle.
Oh, really?
I'm not kidding.
Pickles.
Who likes pickles? Do you like pickles?
Drew loves pickles.
Well, tell Drew they got some amazing pickles in heaven, but he's not coming anytime soon.
Or he's showing you his pickle? What?
Yeah, his pickle. It was mighty tasty too.
No, he was a big fan of food, and
I don't know. Hey, that's another question for another day. Somebody asked me a question: Do they have sex in heaven? And do you guys want to hear that?
Sure.
Yes, they do.
Oh, well, I hope.
Hell yeah.
Oh, there was another.
I am way about that.
Oh,
God.
There was another part of my dream I forgot about Howard. Mm-hmm. Somebody said he had 2 women at the same time that were like sisters or something like that. Mm-hmm. And when he broke up with his wife, like it was just some really random thing, like said, oh, well, he shouldn't get carte blanche because he had 2 women. I was like, good for him.
Well, that gives me
I don't know, maybe I just called him out, ask him.
Well, we know that because I made one of my phone calls to heaven to a brother of one of my clients that actually helped find the killer of him. He died in murder. Right. It's a long story, but we call him back.
Not Howard.
Yeah, we asked this guy, hey, what are you doing up there? And he says he's having lots of sex.
Oh, no. Well, that was in my dream. So, and he did have a couple of girlfriends, so that's good. Mm-hmm. I'm happy for him. And
so what do you think about that, Kyle? That sounds good, right?
I mean, the whole sex thing in the afterlife, I am really down. So, I mean,
that should be
I never even thought about that.
Afterlife.
So,
I mean,
people want to know who Howard is. Howard is my husband's manager and our longtime friend. Okay.
Interesting.
Howard was amazing, funny as all get up, and totally psychic, and gave me the best ever advice. He said, get everything done in the morning, Rebecca, then you'll have the rest of the day.
If I could just get the woman who now manages Drew to do that, I would be really happy. I think it's because he was saying it to her too. Everybody gets up at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in our group. And I'm the only one up in the morning. So I'm doing it for you, Howard. I'm with you. And we miss you horribly. And, if you get any more messages, let me know.
Yeah, I just said hi to all the fans out there, and he loves being on the show. And he's going to send you a sign. He says he's going to give you a dragonfly instead of a hummingbird. So we'll see.
I love dragonflies. Those are my best. Okay, so let's see. What do you think? Should we do have somebody talk to Kyle and get a little?
Yes, absolutely.
Let me see if
Whatever
I can
you would like.
Let's see here.
Because I've got I pulled out, because we were talking about how you were let's talk medical or health or political,
right.
economic. I've got so much that I can dive into.
Okay, let's
whenever you want.
Let's talk to Gail. Hello, Gail. Gail.
Hello.
Gail from Nashville.
Oh, I love Nashville.
I know. I want to go there. I want to live there. How are you, Gail?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Oh, she's so cute. Okay, so go ahead and ask your question, and we'll have Kyle look at your stars.
Okay, I was wondering about with the recent social isolation and economic problems with the COVID-19, and we know it's going to be around for a while. How will it affect me with my career life as far as my job and my love life?
What is your birthday?
Bring the mic a little closer to your mouth.
What is your birthday? Can she hear me?
What did you say?
When were you born?
In June 16th.
What? June 15th, so you're a Gemini.
June 16th, yeah, Gemini.
So basically everything that's going on in your life right now is you are going through a huge rebirth because you're starting eclipses in your relationships and also in your life destiny. So we had a first eclipse in your relationships that took place on June 5th. And we're beginning a cycle for the coming 2 years where you are going to go through some very important life lessons in relation to all of your business and romantic partnerships. So going forward over the next 2 years, you're going to leave relationships that are not working for you. If you feel like you're not in the right ones, you're certainly going to find them. Also, there's been a very significant retrograde of Venus in your sun sign that has been taking place pretty much since May, June, here we are. Next month is looking very good for you when it comes to really kind of owning your self-worth and owning your power. What I see going forward for you in your stars is that you're kind of coming into this new stage of standing up for what you want, because I feel like what I've been sensing here is that you weren't before, and that's why relationships were not working out in your favor. When it comes to your professional life, I see that a lot of this has to, and significantly even in your relationships, is that once you start owning more of your power, which is going to take place more significantly at the end of the year, really around November 30th, that's going to be a very important turning point for you. That's when things are going to kind of click more. Right now, there's a lot of these past traumas in your relationships that are coming up, and you're kind of reviewing it. You're releasing the things that aren't working for you so that you can move forward more effectively. Interestingly enough, I actually do also see that there is an opportunity when it comes to your income that's popping up right about now. There's an eclipse that's coming, so you should be seeing that there's more income coming into your life over the next month and a half. I think that that's going to be a pretty big moment for you. There is a retrograde that's happening in your income right now. So that's why you could see that there's stalled payments, or clients are not as quickly to reach out to you. That's pretty big. Also, I see that there's going to be a really big moment for you around September 1st that is really going to kind of put your career back into the spotlight for you. Things should be moving forward there. Also, I'm getting a lot of read that next summer is really significant for you. You're going to be seeing a really tremendous amount of opportunity that comes to your career, and then also 2022 is going to be really big for you. But the important thing to know at this point in time is that you have to really write down a list of what you want in your relationship so that you can find it and clear space for it. The same thing is when it comes to all of your personal goals and ambitions. You have to make sure that you're standing up for it, stepping into that power, and then that is how the doors are going to open to you. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Set my intentions and hang in there for a little bit longer.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I can already see from the predictive points of view, though, there is opportunity when an income in the next month and a half that's going to be there. Your big turning point in your career this year is that it's around September 1st.
Jeez, how do you know all
That's
Because,
wonderful.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
Thank you so much.
How do you know all that stuff in your head? Astrologists are so
Yeah.
smart.
so,
I get lost. I start reading it. I'm just like, what? Oh, okay. But thank you for calling in, Gail. We really appreciate it. Have fun in
Thank
Nashville.
you. Appreciate it.
Go see Nikki Glazer.
Thank
She's coming to
you.
Nashville.
I think I will.
You
Okay.
should. It's on.
Bye,
It's like the weekend of the 10th and 11th. She was just on our show the other day, and I want to go, but I have to go to Las Vegas, not Nash Vegas that weekend. But everybody go there if you're in the,
I'm
in
gonna
the
watch.
Nashville area. Have a good day. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
So I'm trying to get a guest. Nope. Oh wait, screening room. No, that's not it. Okay, so when you just take somebody's birthday, you just know, I mean, is it based on like what part of the month they're born, or how they're, like if they're in the middle of the month or the end of the month? Is it all the same for all Geminis, or does it kind of mix up and, or you just kind of know, like for Capricorns, what it's going to be like? Or?
well, the thing about astrology that I'm always looking into is the fact that everyone has a unique natal chart. And so the importance is the more information I have about your date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth, the more accurate I can be.
Right.
Because that's really important to look at the nuances of the things that are happening with the alignments and the conjunctions and all of the important astrological aspects. So that's really crucial there. Bless you. And
Bless you. Good. You put it right on just in time.
I'm coughing and sneezing. I have no idea why.
It might just be dust or something.
Also, though, when it comes to general perspectives of the sky,
Nosy
so
teeth.
for instance, like Gemini or Pisces, I can see much more collective patterns that are happening. For them.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's the thing is when I'm writing a horoscope for Astrology.com, I'm talking about their sun signs. But then I also tell people that if you do know your rising sign, it is really great to also look at that because you get more information. And then obviously, if you happen to work with a professional astrologer, we can give you the deeply detailed information. So
Okay, I'm going to change onto a different thing because we were talking about Mercury and retrograde and people being sort of aggressive and not being able to handle things. And anyways, I think this will go in that direction for you. And it's a male. I'm going to try it. Phone call from a male. Hi, Russell.
Hey, Susan, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We have a guy from Austin, Texas. So
Yeah, sorry, the call's breaking up a little bit. Can you hear me okay?
we can hear you fine. You want to ask your question or should I read it?
Oh, sure. No, I can ask. I was just curious what they thought about civil unrest in general and like police reform and racism in the coming year.
absolutely. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've been looking into does affect the political and the social atmosphere of the entire nation, but also the world. And the thing that I think is really important to understand on just a very overarching perspective of the United States is that we are going through our first Pluto return, which represents our complete movement into the next maturity of our evolution as a nation, essentially. Pluto rules destruction and is kind of like a phoenix. And the thing about that is we are going through this period now where we're breaking down everything that is not working for us. And this goes across every part of the United States. And we just really started to get into this in 2019. So it's going to keep getting bigger and stronger and more intense. Around 2022 is when it's going to align exactly. It's going to be a transformative, potentially destructive time. But the thing is, we have a growth that comes from any sort of death and decay. And that's how, a garden exists. We have to release and allow things to, fall, and then they can be reborn again. And then the thing about this, too, is that we are actually having a lunar eclipse on the birthday of the United States this year.
Oh, really?
It's crazy. We
Oh,
are going
wow.
into one of the biggest years
Oh,
of
God.
the United States ever, literally
Are we going to
ever.
have fireworks?
Oh, it's so
That's what I wanna know.
intense. I mean, do you pick that up too?
Yeah,
I mean,
with
it's
Cosmic fireworks.
so
Yes.
big.
So what I'm getting is when they talk about reform, they need more education within, in my opinion, and being able to read for people of all walks of life, including the police, is that I've heard that the education in like Los Angeles County, that there's not enough education when you're training to be a police officer. Do you know these guys go out with guns that aren't even new? Okay, there's so many. They're training. They might get a pamphlet that is like 100 years old. So what they need to spend the money on is to get these cops or these policemen or these, civil servants trained properly and educated in how to deal more with the emotional side. The emotional, right? Not the physical, but the emotion, mind, body, and soul. So that this isn't going to turn into a gun fest or an unnecessary death, right?
Well, we're all going to be having, becoming our own militant preservers.
Right. So what we should do is we should put money into education and getting them trained and preparing them to go and know that every day you're going into a situation where you could be killed. Every day you could
Well,
go.
they already
and,
know that.
No, I hear that you're going to be a policeman. You're going to be prepared for that. You got to go to a domestic violence. You know what? I had a police officer there. I said, "Why are you not wearing your vest? You need to put your vest on. You're going to go domestic disturbance." And that guy is so upset about what's going on in his life, he's going to shoot at you. And you know what? It happened. I saved his life. Now, he should have had the vest on anyway, I guess. Wow. But you never know. People's emotions run high.
But the governments want to defund the police, which is going to make it worse for the police. They're not going to be able to protect themselves.
I don't say defund. Let's put the money where it belongs. It's education and
keep the good cops.
Training them properly, giving them the tools to be around people that are emotional at a moment, that they're going to act crazy or they're going to act irrational. They're not going to act their normal person. I mean, we have to do that, right?
Yeah.
And teachers have to do it and doctors have to do it. The police have to do it too. So that's my thing. Are we going to have this racial tension still? Yes. But I do think worldwide, because I've been getting a lot of calls around the world. I don't know how they're getting my name. I've had Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Colombia, Ireland, you name it. I think the United States is going to bond with other countries around the world. And I think what we're all looking together is to stop this racial tension in all countries, not just America. So we as a collective human race can come up the ladder. And it is going to happen. We are going to find a place of peace eventually.
Yes, we are actually going into the next Great Awakening. And that was one of the wild card things that I wanted
Worldwide,
to bring.
Oh,
right?
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Let's hear it.
That actually becomes a major turning point for us in December of 2020.
Right.
And
Oh,
that's
December
because-
23rd?
No, December of 2020. So
Yeah,
it's
but is it December 23rd? Because I know there's a big change.
the Great Conjunction. I don't remember the exact date.
Yeah, I saw
it's like
it.
the 19th, 23rd, it's around there.
It's a day after my birthday.
Yeah. So the
So
thing
it's going to
about
get
this-
better after my birthday.
Well, these planets take a long time to move, so it's not necessarily just the day. We're already moving towards that. And the thing about the Great Conjunction is that we look at Saturn and Jupiter and where they're meeting in the sky. So they've predominantly been meeting in Earth signs, which are consumeristic, materialistic. It's all about global economies. And this has been happening for roughly about 200 years. Well, the exciting thing is that moving forward, starting in December of 2020, they are going to be uniting every 20 years in air signs. So what that paves the way for, essentially, is breakthroughs in medicine, technology, spirituality, intellectualism, all of these important high-minded ideas and ideologies and philosophy as well. So that is going to be a huge shift for us that is going to occur over the long period of the next 150 years. But this is the turning point, and that's the thing, is whenever we have planets that have been meeting in a certain sign for a long time, it takes a while to transition, and we have to get used to this new way of life, and that's exactly what's happening here. Yeah. Another big thing that I wanted to bring up with this is that we are going to be having a lot of global rebellions about money until 2023.
Well, because they want to go digital.
Yes, money. I know. Yeah, we're going to. Yeah, totally. That's one of mine too.
And
yeah,
so
we're going to cryptocurrency much more.
Yes, it's going to be like when they, look.
Bitcoin apparently is going to grow, right?
Yeah,
is that what you said?
I still think that gold will be valuable. okay, actual gold. Digital money, which I don't know much about, we have to look into the future, because when it changed the last time, like these big corporations had issues, right? So what we got to, they said, look, we've got to go to the future. If it is going to be digital money, let's learn about it now, so everybody doesn't go crazy and go kaput. You know what I mean? So I still think what the value in gold is going to stay there. And
It's
that's going to happen, yes.
$1,700 an ounce now. That's high.
Yeah, it's high. So if you had bought gold,
I keep track of all this stuff. You'd be amazed at what
She's
I
a
know.
Capricorn. Of course
Yeah,
she does.
I know about money.
yeah. So yeah, so
I don't know how you wear it.
Oh,
Right.
100%. I
Yeah.
can see it astrologically.
Well,
And-
yeah. Didn't you write something in your article about
Yes.
Bitcoin being a...
Yeah, I write all of these big predictions, and they're on my website. They're on Cosmopolitan. They're on Astrology.com. They're
Now,
all over the place.
As far as race relations, though, back to Russell's question.
Yeah, can I make a point about that?
Yes.
So Saturn is currently in Aquarius. We've just been feeling this energy since March of 2020, and on July 1st of 2020, it's going to go back into Capricorn. The thing about this is whenever we have Saturn move around the sun, it takes roughly about anywhere 27 to 30 years, roughly. The thing is, we learn important life lessons in our lives, but also collectively. Aquarius is one of the signs of, communities and individuality and understanding differences in people. And the importance here is that whenever we have Saturn teaching us, we are going into this next pattern of understanding more diversity and understanding equality more significantly. So even though we're having clashes and global rebellions in relation to money and how that money is being associated across, with groups of people, when it comes to the racial, importance that we are going through right now, it's still going to have 2 years of kind of difficulty and really standing up for this. But by 2023, we're going to have a better system and understanding of what we need as a people.
And the racial differences with the economy and who's the haves and who's the have-nots, it's different.
Yes.
It becomes more equal. Not that we can't be really wealthy, or we can't, I guess, have nothing if you choose it. But it will be easier to be more of an equal. Everybody has equal opportunity. That's what I make. It's not based on the color of your skin. Now, little footnote. I actually got arrested. I don't think you know this, Susan.
Oh, really?
I
When?
Yes,
Recently?
I was at a party.
Wait, yesterday?
No. I was young. I was very young. I went to a party, and I saw there was some kind of trouble going on, and the police, actually, nothing against police, they were beating up the wrong guy. So I step in,
Uh-oh.
and I tell him, "Hey, you got the wrong guy. That's not the guy. Why are you beating him up? And what they did is they arrested me for interfering.
Of course.
And I got arrested, and I had a tube top on.
No. Oh, no.
And my tube top.
Fell down in you were handcuffed.
So I was literally topless, and
nice.
I was arrested like this. So I was like, woo. No.
Well, I mean,
Thank
you
you
are
for
a
sharing,
beautiful
Rebecca.
woman, so.
Yes.
But
Well-
yeah, you don't try to step in and be a civil servant in a tube top.
Well, my friend came and pulled up my tube top, and and then when I got to the police station, I'd worked at a place called Golfland where they had moonlighting officers, and they said, "Oh my God, what's Rebecca doing here? She's such a good girl. Let her go. Let her go." So I got let
There
go.
was during the right. Russell, are you getting your questions answers, or are you just sitting back and laughing?
Yes, no, that was very helpful. The only other thing, if you have time, I would ask kind of selfishly if Kyle had any insights for what's going on with our Sagittarius recently. I just felt very strange in the last month or so. I mean, outside of all the normal or abnormal societal pressures right now.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, similar to what I was talking about with Gemini and Sagittarius are on a polarity. And we've been having eclipses in Cancer and Capricorn for the last 2 years, and they've been getting hit very intensely. Now, as the nodes move into Gemini and Sagittarius, we are seeing that you are going to be in the line of fire. So I don't want that to scare you, but everything in your life is changing very rapidly, and it's going to continue to do so
why did I call?
for the next 2 years. And the thing is, the reason it's very momentous right now is because of the June 5th eclipse that we had that was in Sagittarius. And so again, this is digging up all of the important things inside of you about your personal value, your personal worth, the things that you want in your heart, because you're like, fuck, I want to make sure that I'm going to get all of these things. And if I'm not going to get them, maybe I need different things. I have to change my path. And also, you're going into such a very significant transition in your relationships. I see that you've been very nostalgic, very confused, actually. You may have been hearing back from old people, but the thing about this is confusion always brings clarity. And that's important for us to realize, that it's a blessing to slow down and reflect, so that we can be like, aha, now I know how to move forward. And now I know why that relationship was important, or if it was a learning lesson or things like that. But if I were you, I would really think about, look at the seeds of the changes that happened in the last month, especially in relation to this new destiny that's calling to you. Because each eclipse that happens, there's going to be 4, is kind of like a play, like or an act in a play. So that was Act 1. Act 2 is going to come for you around December 14th of this year, then May of 2021, and then in November of 2021. That's going to be the complete evolution of you.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. That's fascinating. That really lines up with what I've been seeing.
He just did an opera in astrology.
I mean, I try to make it,
You get so much information in a very short period of time. It's impressive.
Yay.
I know. I love that about you. Okay, so we really appreciate you calling in, and I'm glad that we're going to have a lot of change, because apparently, according to our psychics today, Biden's coming into office. So the market's going to change. The hopefully the environmental change. Democrats will be happy. We'll have more social services and help bring a little bit more justice to inequality, and not just hopefully make change. Change can be good, right?
One of the things that I think is really interesting that I've been meditating upon and actually seeing in the stars is that I think this coronavirus is obviously here to change everybody's life on a personal level, but I think it's actually one of the things that is destroying Trump's chances of winning. I think it was placed divinely, and that's why it's so severe.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to survive. I mean, I bet it's a really close election, though. I have a feeling,
I thought it was going to be close to, but, psychically what I saw.
Only one can win.
And I think Biden has a really good vice president. I think it's a female.
Yeah,
strong.
totally.
Did he get it? Who did he get?
I'm not sure.
He hasn't gotten one yet.
No, but I think it'll be a female. I don't know. And somebody who is loved by the people. So
maybe a woman will finally be president.
Yeah.
He ain't getting any younger.
So.
But he's a good guy. So, yeah, I hate politics. I am apolitical, so I don't really care. I don't usually vote. So just so you know, I will vote, though, this year, just because, I don't know, I feel bad if I don't. And we had a little conversation. I had a little conversation with Jennifer about the economy, and here's her interview.
Okay. Meet my new little kitty cat. Super cute. All right. So I want to go over another prediction of mine. It has to do with the economy. I think that before and after the election, obviously, the markets will go up and go down. But I do feel like I always look for the stock market. I always look to see when it's in a dip. When is the best time to invest? Don't take your money out, but if you had money to invest, when would it be? I do feel like the 3rd week of November. So you can figure out what that means. But I do feel like the 3rd week of November is the best time to invest in blue chip stocks. And the stock market in November does feel very, very shaky.
All right. So as a practical economist by hobby and a day trader, I would say that is because when Biden wins, the market's going to go down considerably. Because when a Republican comes into office, typically the market shoots up in the opposite direction, because it just happens. So maybe that's another reason to believe that he could win the election. That was just my take on it. And she also predicted the Ravens were going to win the Baltimore Ravens were going to win this year. So
Wow.
I had to get it from her. I cut it off. So anyways, that's
I'll get a better look at it as we figure out how they're going to even play, and then I'll let you know.
I think they're going to play because, you're predicting. But thank you again, Russell. Sorry I didn't drop you after this last call. But.
And Russell has a very pink aura. So
Ooh.
look towards your love life. Tend your garden properly.
Yep.
And you should have some, ooh la la.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, manscape that thing. All right. We appreciate the call.
Manscaped.
All right,
just
thanks
love
so
you
much,
guys.
guys. I
just
really
love you
appreciate it.
guys.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Actually, I can talk about the economy with a specific days.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, couldn't help it. So, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So, at least from the economy on my point of view, is that I can see that there are some very significant conjunctions which always represent new beginnings. And redistribution of wealth always is tied to, well, it's one of the indications of it is Jupiter and Pluto meeting in the sky. We had one that was really important when it came actually to redistributing everything because of the panic of the coronavirus, which was taking place in April. We actually have another very significant day where they're going to meet around the 29th and 30th of this month in June. It's a very important time of prosperity. But the thing is, this is still us evolving and having things shake out. And also, they meet again. It is on November 12th of 2020. That is the final time they're going to be meeting this year. And it's very important. And that's going to be really reestablishing the wealth that is going to be.
Well, that's what Jennifer said.
It's literally November 12th.
Second or third
Mark
week.
my words on that. So there's that. Also, we did talk about with the economy having a big push to cryptocurrency. That's going to be huge for sure.
Yes.
And but all of this.
Do you guys have any
turmoil-
Bitcoin?
No,
I don't.
But I might buy some.
I know. How do we get
Right,
that?
Some gold
Yeah.
in my pocket.
Totally. But global economies are going to see a huge radical turnover this year because of all of the new implications that are happening with these new restrictions. It's still going to evolve pretty much to 2026. I see a lot of like radical turmoil when it comes to uprisings next year. But I feel like the big transition that's going to reestablish prosperity, and this happens time and time again when it comes to astrology, is we have this shakeup, and then it's going to issue forth and slowly build again, starting on November 12th.
Wow.
Yay.
That's exactly what she said.
Yeah. And that's what I can see here.
Do you want to take another call?
Sorry, I keep bumping this, by the way, just because it's so close to
I thought it was
my
an
mic.
earthquake. Thank God it's not.
Well, that's actually, I have, one of my predictions is that we're going to have continuous
Yes,
earthquakes for the
earthquakes.
next, 6 years. It's
Oh,
going to
well-
become the biggest disaster in the,
Oh,
in the
no.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're in rocking and rolling right now. So anybody that lives in California should just,
And you're feeling an earthquake?
yes, just, do what you need to do.
It's Rebecca's fault.
Yeah.
Do what you need
I'm
to do.
kind of always pretty on with earthquakes because I can feel them. But just, put your stuff that you don't want to break in a place where it won't break. Or, what I always say, strap your pieces to the walls. Do what you have to do. I think we live here. We know that it could happen. So
Right.
we just have to.
Well, it's like living in a tornado area or
It's what-
hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you deal with it.
You deal with it.
I don't want to think about it. We got enough problems.
Well,
Okay.
windstorms are going to get insane in the second half of
Oh, really?
the 2020s.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
Can I say another thing? Because it's been bugging me the whole time I'm sitting here.
Okay.
There's something about Tanzania that really has to be careful with maybe some of this, the coronavirus. Tanzania, that's it. Can you tell me the location? Do you know, is that Africa?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Right? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So they have to be a little careful in that. For some reason, I'm getting so much about Tanzania. So,
East Africa.
Yeah, East Africa has to be
I
very
apologize for
careful
not
with
knowing.
COVID-19 to try to get, all the proper protocols in place so they don't have a huge epidemic explosion over there. I'm getting a lot about Nigeria, Tanzania, that whole Africa.
No, no.
Now, that's true about the O blood type, too. If you have O blood type, you're a little resistant, and people want to know why. It's one of the oldest blood type there is. It's been through many pandemics and epidemics and diseases, you know?
Really? Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, thank God I am an O blood type.
Are you?
So,
Oh, good,
yeah.
good. We want you to be well.
So,
I'm going to take another call. It's Rose. Rose, are you
Hello?
awake? Sorry, you've been on the line for a long time. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
good?
I'm sorry.
She said, how are we? I'm
Did
good.
I lose
How are
the
you?
call?
You're
No,
good.
you're
Yeah,
here.
I'm
We're
great,
here.
I'm
We're
great.
waiting for you. So go ahead and ask your question to Rebecca and Kyle.
Okay. I had a question about my health lately. Anxiety issues, trying to avoid being put on medication. I just had recently put my dog down after 8 years, so I've been really sad, and I have had him cremated, and he's on my dresser.
No, I'm
Also,
sorry.
I called in, about 6 months ago, I think it was, and I broke off an engagement with a fella that I'd known for a long time. I think I did the right thing. I just was kind of wondering about my future period, whether I want to move, whether I should sell my home, etc.
Well, you want to take this, Kyle? Ask her.
What's your birthday? What's your sun sign?
My birthday is June 28th.
Okay, so you're Cancer.
Yes.
Okay, so the reason you broke this off with this situation with him is because there was a very significant eclipse that took place in around January 10th. That was very, very difficult for you, and you felt like it just couldn't work anymore. Lots of difficulty, lots of oppression, and just you were shouldering too much. It wasn't fair, and that's what I keep pulling from that. And the thing about this is that we just had an eclipse in your sun sign that took place 2 days ago. So when an eclipse, like I said, happens in your sun sign or your ascendant, it is putting your identity, your hopes, your personal wishes front and center. So you are actually in a very beautiful spot for the next several, certainly this next 6 months, but this is about you recreating yourself. This is about you creating a list of your priorities that are the most important to you, because you have the opportunity, the open door now to go and get those things. You do have a very important turning point that's going to take place in your relationships. It's going to take place at the beginning of July. What I sense here is that you're actually going to be releasing. There's still things that you've got to let go of. It could feel a little bit dark for you, but the thing is, it's actually an opportunity. And I think that when you look at challenges, if you find a light within it and you see the opportunity to walk through that door to improve your life, you will actually go further. And that's really important. But also, you have a Mercury retrograde that's taking place in your sun sign right now. You are feeling, I can sense your anxiety. I can see your anxiety. I know that you are having a lot of fears. But this is, again, what these fears are tied to is you don't know what's ahead, and you don't know what you want. And I think you need to clarify that for yourself. And I think the way to do that is to listen to your heart.
Right. And you know what I get? You're grieving. You're grieving over the death of your relationship. You've known them a long time. Grieving over your pet. Grief is interesting because it could cause a lot of fear, but it causes a lot of change. Now, my take about you moving, I wouldn't act quickly. So you have to really find the next spot you want to go to, because if you don't, then you'll end up moving 2 other times, which could be a big hassle. So I would look and see, where's the community, where's the people you want to do, you want to live around. You will have another dog, but I'd say wait a bit before you take on the responsibility. And I see the name John around you. Have you had an important John in your life? I know. If you have a John, no,
John, my little brother. That's my little brother.
Yeah.
I have a John.
I think he's been worried a little bit about you, so I don't know how close you are, but he might be, want to give you a little bit of
Reach
comfort.
out.
Reach out. And I do feel like you will meet
Yeah.
somebody. Now, I don't know why you're worrying about your legs. Do you have anything wrong with your legs? I mean, do you like your legs? Do you not like your legs? What's going on with your legs?
Oh, I had a knee injury back in October or September, actually. And it healed then finally in January. Or, wait, oh gosh, December. I could finally go without crutches. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, yeah.
I would say then still, you don't want to get out there and gung-ho with your exercise, but do exercise. I'm glad it looks like it healed. I do feel that you're going to feel confident in your body. Light pink is the color for love. So when you want to open up your love channel, wear some light pink, get some rose quartz, sea salt bath, and before you know it, yes, light pink.
Also, one thing that I want to put out there when it comes to the moving, though, is that I see that there's a doorway that's opening for you around October 16th. And then there's also an opportunity. So here's the thing is you don't necessarily have to take it, but there is going to something is going to pop up then. However, I also see that you are going to be really enjoying your home life, your domesticity. It's possibly you like buying new things for your space, fixing things up, having people over, dinners, things like that. That is going to really take place, particularly from October 27th until November 21st. So towards the end of the year, you're going to feel more stable.
Yes. Yeah,
So keep moving forward. Keep on keeping it. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
And I suggest that you buy a new couch. Your couch has the energy of
The
your
dog
old boyfriend
just did a number on the.
Oh man. you seriously like bring out this like inner child of laughter in me sometimes, and I just can't even hold it. I'm like,
yeah, you'll be sitting on that thing with your new bow, and you're feeling.
It smells like a dog.
No,
You need
it's
to
not a dog. Well, if you want to call your ex a dog, okay, old dog, okay.
Don't get a new pet. Get a new couch.
Yes, you're exactly right. The couch has got to go.
bye.
She can transport into your house. You got to be careful when you talk.
I could see that couch. I feel that energy. I go, that thing's got to go.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, thank you, Rose. Have a good one.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking my call. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rose.
Okay, so I have more Nashville coming.
Love
Nashville. I love Nashville.
I love somebody who's living in Nashville.
Me
but I
too.
won't say who it is.
We know who that is. I know who it is.
Don't say.
So anyways, hi, Erin.
Hi, how are you? Hey, everybody.
I love the sound of their voices. They sound so nice.
Aw, thank you.
Could never be
Southern
mad at
hospitality, right?
a Southern woman.
I'm so excited I get to speak to y'all tonight. This is so exciting. I've been listening to you for a long, long time. So I'm so excited. I was disappointed I couldn't find you for a while. I got a real job instead of cleaning houses, and then I found you again. You came back, which was great.
we took a little break, you know. We all agreed it was
I don't
time.
blame you.
It was time to do it again, and so I need to be in touch with my spiritual side again. It's Yeah. So I'm gonna let one of you just decide who's gonna.
You go first. I'll let you go first.
I mean, what does she ultimately want to dive into?
So I don't have a specific question. I just wanted to see if you, by any chance, saw anybody coming through for me, or if you see anything for my future, and just kind of go from there.
I
See
do.
what you guys pick up on.
I'll take it because I do see a female coming through. I think she's been trying to come through me because there's some unusual light that I can see on the screen that seems to be around me. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but it's kind of a light that keeps flashing, and I didn't see it on you. So, so she's a female, and she wants to tell you that she's made it safely to the other side. She talks about, have you had any problem with your teeth at all? She was a little concerned about your teeth or your jaw.
My teeth?
Yes.
Your teeth.
Do you think that
Or
you're
my
grinding your...
My teeth.
Go into the mic a little bit more.
Are you grinding your teeth? Has there been any problem with your jaw? She was kind of concerned about this area of your mouth.
Why it's so...
Well, I can't see you. Are you pointing to the right or the left? I mean, I guess I don't have a lot of teeth issues. I mean, I used to work in a dental office.
Oh, you did?
Well,
maybe that's her. Maybe that's her clue. You worked in a dentist office. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, because she's trying to say something about the dentist. Okay, so she knew she was alive when you worked in the dentist office, so she knows that about you.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that that you have some belongings of hers, or it could be jewelry, it could be knickknacks, and you know, she has more brown hair than a blonde now because she looks young. My did you guys hear that? The name Suzette just now come through the mics. Does that make any sense to you? The name Suzette.
Oh no! Now I know what you're talking about.
No.
Yeah, it was like a buzz.
It was Suzette.
No, I don't.
Yeah, no, it
I
sounded like it was like.
myself don't know if you.
Okay, well, anybody out
So
there that knows a Suzette, maybe you call in because she's trying to get through the mics right now. Maybe you guys all heard it. I don't know. But anyway, I don't think this is your mother. I think it's your father's mother, paternal grandmother. Did you ever know her?
No. Mm-mm.
Well, she's very much around you. And
No, I sure didn't.
yes, and you might get something from her, even if you didn't know her. Something you will get or you will learn about her. Paternal grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And it will bring you good luck.
Okay.
She's been trying to help you lately a lot. I thought you knew her, but she knows you work in a dentist office. She's good. She's glad that you changed your profession, and that you have a little bit of money coming to you that is unforeseen or unknown. Could be even those stimulus checks. They're going to do another round
Yep,
of
they
those.
are. Yep, that's one of the things that's tied to
Government, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So don't miss those. You're probably
Yeah.
entitled. And she also said to, I'm going to give you a name. It's also common, but it's Bobby. So keep the name Bobby, Robert or Bobby. Yeah, it'll be somebody who will be beneficial to helping you in some way. Now, you check him out. Make sure he's kosher. But that's what I'm going to keep that there. So you've got some amazing good stuff coming up.
What's your sign?
Okay. I'm a Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay, very interesting. So Capricorns have been having such a very difficult couple years, particularly from 2017, the end of that time. You're actually moving forward into this, the end of this rebirth period, and there are very important turning points that are going to be coming to you in relation to your life destiny because of the eclipse that's taking place literally on July 4th. So you're actually going to be seeing more of the blessings that are coming into your life, more luck on your side, particularly from the end of September into October towards December.
Yay, I'm a Capricorn too. I like it. How about
There's
you,
lots
Erin?
of luck that's coming into there. And it's still there right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Love it.
It's still there right now, but it's a little weaker. And it's the reason I feel it is because you haven't really even fully figured out how you want to move forward, because you're in this big chapter where all of these planets are in your sun sign, which is all about beginnings and creating the cycles until they come back to the same place in the sky. But for you right now, you're in that early part where you're throwing a lot of seeds at actually the way that I'm kind of visualizing this is that you're like, especially since like the last decade, you've been just like throwing stuff against the wall to see what makes sense. And if it doesn't work, you burn it down. You're like, well, next thing. And you keep doing that, not only to yourself, but also to some of your relationships. And I see stronger relationships coming into your future, particularly interestingly, when it comes to right now, there is an eclipse that's taking place in your relationships, which can improve your romantic situations, but Uranus is also in your sector of romance, and so what I'm actually seeing here is you need to go for a different type. And once you start to step out of that, you're going to have better luck in dating. But you keep kind of like limiting to for some reason. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
A little bit. I mean, I'm in a long-term relationship. We've been together for almost 10 years. So,
well, the thing is with your relationship is that, so here's the thing, is if you've already been together, you have opportunities to grow together.
Yeah, reinvent.
Yes, and reinvent. And when it comes to the passionate side of things, so if it's not necessarily, like I said, going through to find different kinds of partners, it's about really getting more spicy, more spontaneous, more creative, more sexual with each other, and allowing that to ignite as a passion sector so that it really, it feels more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it's fresh.
Exactly. Yes. Does that kind of flow work? Because the thing is, I can see the different places that are highlighted for you in the sky now in the coming years ahead. But yeah,
Spice it up, bitch.
Yeah, for sure.
Get on your lingerie, girl. No.
Get it out. Get out
hey.
that sexy underwear.
Yeah.
time.
And toys.
It's
Love it.
Nashville. They're opening up Nashville. You got to go have some fun.
You got to have some whipped cream and
I know.
collard greens. I don't know.
They finally opened us up a little bit today or this week, so we'll see.
What a relief.
Well, thank you guys.
Be
I
sure you go and see
appreciate
Nikki
you all.
Glazer in Nashville. She's going to be there around the 11th and 12th of July. Should be a really good show.
Who is?
Nikki Glazer.
Mm.
She was a guest
Okay.
on
Oh, yeah.
our show this week. She's a comedian, big comedian. So that's one of her first times out. So it should
Yeah, I
be
know
fun.
Nikki Glazer.
Yeah, check it out. That'll be fun. And then she has a lot of sexual stuff in her show too. So get your boyfriend or husband and go out and have some fun and make them happy.
Yeah.
I know her.
Well,
like, yeah,
I hope you guys
whatever.
have a great night.
Oh,
Thank you for
no.
taking my call.
It'll be fine. You'll be good. Everybody's
And,
gonna be fine.
I'm gonna call in again, and maybe I'll get you again.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so much.
calling.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Okay.
Have
bye.
have a great night. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
You know what? We've got so many
Bye-bye.
people now trying to come in from the other side. We've got an Earl George. We've got a Suzette. We got a Betty that's really bugging me. Betty, I can't tell your people to call. They got to call. They got to find
I know Betty.
this show. Do you?
Yeah.
Because she's like, my name's Betty. She wants to come
Hi,
through.
Betty.
And say
We
hello to
were
everybody.
doing a show last week, and Drew's mother and her best friend or a friend of hers came in the last minute or so. But what's up with Betty? How is Betty?
Betty's great. Betty said she knew the show was going to be on tonight, and she just wanted to come by and say hello.
She's been here before.
Oh, well, she's good to go. And she looks young. Her hair looks great. And she's,
What does her hair look like?
but you know what's funny? It almost looks like, 50s, 40s, kind of a old, but she has a flower in her hair. You know how they used to do that? It looks really good.
Oh, that's cute.
And I don't know if she liked to dance or she seems like kind of a lively gal. So, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
having
Betty
her.
was one of Drew's patients who helped me while I was pregnant. And
Oh, my goodness.
she was elderly, but I always wonder what that generation thinks about this whole mess down here.
Well, she said she lived through some of, some of the pandemics and things that happened back then. So.
She was old enough to go through the Spanish flu.
Yeah, so she did. And
I'm
she
kidding,
came
Betty.
out-
I'm sorry, Betty. You weren't that old. But
she said she gets it. She has a good sense of humor, but she wants you to see her young now. She looks young and
I bet she's gorgeous.
beautiful. And
She was a fun person.
she is really fun. She's kind of dancing.
Can't
and she's
remember
got
her
a flower
husband's
in her
name.
hair.
Betty and
She's good.
what was her husband's name? What were the other names you yelled out?
Earl George.
No,
Suzette.
William. He was William. That's Bill.
Yeah. No,
But they were nice people, and she drops by. I always wondered, how Drew's mom popped in at the end of the last show, and we didn't talk to her, but she popped by.
Well, you know what the thing is? This gal knows that you had the triplets, so she's glad that the triplets are doing good. hanging
She
in there.
saved my life. So
Yeah.
she was in the hospital when I almost died after having the triplets. So she was
Yeah,
right
so
there.
She's glad to see you're alive and looking good, and the boys and the girl is
I'm alive.
doing good. And
And I'm a
Drew's doing good.
Capricorn, and I've got to spice up my love life. Kyle.
I mean, I'm dating one, so I'm keeping it really spicy.
Erin didn't sound that interested in it. She was like, okay, whatever.
I mean, hey, the way that I always explain sex, there's a lot of different ways that I explain sex to clients, but I think it's a power, it's a confidence, and it's an energy.
Yeah.
And when you are expressing that in a way that is, healthy and empowering yourself, you're going to just be healthier in every realm of your life.
Well, it's been so hard, like during the lockdown. Like at first it was great because Drew was here all the time. I was like, woo, this is fun, and then after a while we started working together all day, and then we started hanging out, and then he started going off and doing other things, and it wasn't like I get so tired at night. I fall asleep like 8:30 at night. I'm such an old lady, but and, I was like, could you just catch me at like noon tomorrow? That's a good time. But it just seems like we're so used to being apart and then just being together for such a long period of time with your spouse that you've been with for a long time. It does get a little repetitive, and you have to put a lot of effort into it comparatively. And, you know, a lot of people realize they don't want to be together anymore after this.
There's a lot of people that are going through that right now.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. I'm still in love with my husband, and we still have a pretty good, decent, you know, okay sex life. But
we talked about back when I first met you guys, actually, in New York. I brought that up right away. I was like, oh, I can see there was some crazy shit going on up here.
Oh, good. Don't hold back, Kyle. Thanks.
Sorry. Out of love. I mean it out of love.
Are you guys getting tired?
No.
I'm good.
Oh my gosh, I love Rebecca. Rebecca can go on for like days and days. Okay, so.
Well, I've been off the grid a little bit because I don't have Dancing with Ghosts anymore. And
I know.
I just I've done a couple of live streams, but I've just been taking it a little bit easy. But like I've said, I've got a lot of calls from all over the world. So that's been quite interesting. And that makes me think that we're going to be more, how do I say, we're going to be closer to other people in other countries because we all suffered from this. Okay?
Right.
We all suffered from, discrimination. And it makes us closer to have a common bond. Even if it's not a positive, it could turn into a very positive thing.
Well, the big thing that I can actually see, too, is that's just beginning to transition. It comes down to leadership. Mm-hmm. And the people that are going to rise to become the most powerful people in the world in the next, incarnation of 150 years are going to be the philosophers, the astrologers, the scientists, the people that are here in the spiritual realm, like you.
Well,
that are teaching people.
Did that back in the day,
yeah.
A lot of people. But I say if you're going to be a warrior, then you need a powerful leader. And if you don't have a powerful leader, then you have to know how to lead yourself.
Well, I hate to say it, but we don't really have a good choice between the two.
Well,
I'm not sure they're going to.
What we got to do is we got to
there
be
might
our own
now
good choice, right? We have to be our own warriors.
I am apolitical. I do not. I don't. I'm a registered Democrat just because I have a heart, but I'm kind of apolitical, but I think the two running mates are, it's like, which one's the lesser of two evils? You know what I mean? I don't see Biden killing it, but I also know that people hate Trump, and I'm tired of hearing about it, and I'd prefer that we just move on. Although I think he's done the best he could.
I think Biden will have a strong team behind him. I don't think it's just Biden by himself. And that's where his success lies, in having team players and team members that help him to carry a load. That's going to be a big job because he's, like any president, they've got to take care of what came before them. If it was a mess or not a mess. Or
I would like Andrew Cuomo to run for president. I wish they could just.
Cuomo.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah, I love him.
Andrew's the governor of New York, and he's done a really spectacular job with his people. Gavin Newsom needs to go. He's our governor. He's a wimp.
I was actually channeling into them probably like 3 weeks ago, and they both have intentions to run for president.
And Garcetti. Oh yeah, that's the only reason they get up and talk like blah 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 blah. They're practicing, okay, but they're terrible. They're wimpy and they have no backbone, and they've screwed up California. There's no way they'd win. But we need leaders. We need everybody to vote for our local governments, and we need more African Americans in office at the lower levels so that, they can move up, and go to the higher levels. And there's just, we need to have more of all colors and all races in our government to help us change the laws. But, I just don't think a new president's going to make it all better. We still have, a Congress and a Senate, and the people that are in Congress need to change as well.
Well, you know what? Look at I said, do you think God is a stupid God? I mean, they have so many people that talk about being Christians and this and that and that. And yet, why did God put people that look different on the earth? Because they weren't mobile at the time of creation. You wouldn't put me, as white as I am, in the middle of a desert. Okay? You wouldn't. I wouldn't survive. Okay? So they put... The skin color is based on...
That would be a reality show, though.
Yes.
Right.
Think about it, right? Would you put a cactus in the middle of the North Pole? No. Why do you think the eyes are slanted in some people? Because
Oh God,
the
don't go
weather.
there. Don't go there. Well, yeah, I have those
It's
too.
the weather. No, it's to protect their eyes.
That's true. Yeah.
Some people
okay.
have big booties because they needed them at the time. Okay.
All
No,
right.
it's true.
We have to be careful what we say now. I
have a big booty and might have an O blood type.
Well, you'd make
comes
it
from
in cold
Africa.
weather. Yeah. Okay.
It does.
All right. So let.
I'm telling you right now, I'm white as a ghost, but I got some African in there somewhere.
All right.
I hope people don't get mad because I said that. But
They might. We have to be careful. Okay. So I'm going to do this one because Jennifer.
One quick random prediction I want to bring is that we're actually going into a renewed space age, actually.
Oh, really?
There are going to be a lot of space breakthroughs that begin to happen.
That's the callers.
Oh.
Hi.
Yeah, we're going to go into some very significant space development.
I also want to talk about that Taurus thing that is 5 years long that we have to deal with. But anyways, Jennifer, are you there?
Yeah, hello?
Jennifer from Atlanta.
Oh, I'm not from Atlanta. My phone number is a Georgia number, though.
Okay, well, close enough. How are you?
I live in the Washington, D.C. region right now.
Oh, nice. Boy, that must have been fun. So what's your question?
So basically, I have a question for the psychic in the room. So I have really bad anxiety. I've had anxiety since I was a child. And a lot of my anxiety is illness and anxiety. So this pandemic's been really hard for me. And I've been, I'm a really intuitive person. So I've been really sensitive to what's going on in the world, everything and the pandemic and everything else going on in this country. And I've been trying to plan like my escape route to another country that I've actually visited before, and I wanted to move there and start a business. But I just wanted to call and ask you guys, if that's the path I should be taking right now, or if there's, going to be significant changes in my life coming forward. Also, I'm a Sagittarius, and I believe that I'm a double fire sign. I think in my sun and my star is Sagittarius, and my rising, I think, is Cancer or something like that.
Okay, that's a lot of questions. So which question do you want to hit on the most? You want to know if you should leave the country?
Yeah, so, if that's a good move, I guess.
Where did you want to go?
Kind of hold on. Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from a health standpoint, I feel I'm channeling the vibes of my husband. He would say now is not a good time to go to Costa Rica. You do not want to get COVID in Costa Rica right now. You want to wait till you get a vaccination before you leave the country. Okay. Because if you caught it there, you may not live through it. You have a better chance of surviving it here in the country. That's just a medical position that I would imagine would come out of my husband's mouth, because I just wanted to go on vacation to Mexico, and that was his reason not to. So I'll let Rebecca take it from here.
Okay, you know what? I had the same thing you said. I was going to say, when she said Costa Rica, my exact version of what I would have said was what you said, Susan, not now. It's not a good time. I don't know what their medical team, I'm not saying it's horrible, but I got a no. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go eventually, but I believe that if you wait and you plan it out properly, and, Costa Rica is interesting because there's two sides to it. There are things there that are very good, and there are things there that are not. So I think you need to do a little more homework, plan a little bit better, kind of wait till things die down a little bit with COVID-19. And then I would say, look at other places that you might be happy with. You've maybe been there and you fell in love with it, but it's not the same as living in a place that you loved when you visited. So do more homework. Are you going to leave the United States? Eventually, I do believe you are, but under circumstances are much more safe for you. So I agree with Susan. And
I don't know. I think you can go to Mexico right now. You can actually fly in if you can prove that you don't have COVID. But I'm not sure about Costa Rica or South America that far down. They may have limitations as to when you can travel. You have to be quarantined for like 2 weeks. once you get there in cots in the airport or something. I don't know. They have all these crazy things depending on the country, but there are websites that tell you that if you do decide to go, whether or not when you get there, see people have gone and they've been quarantined for 2 weeks on a cot in a in an airport, and they've been very disgruntled with that. But most countries aren't even allowing United States citizens in at this point.
Well, I don't think it's even based on
Right.
just COVID-19. I think there are things about housing. I think there's something about the culture that you need to know more about. I mean, I don't like the fact that they have alligators that are in seawater there. So, but that's my opinion. I don't like alligators.
She sees an alligator in
So,
your
I mean,
future.
but
It's beautiful. I've been there. It's absolutely gorgeous.
yeah, so you just need to learn more about the country, the particulars, and like Susan said, COVID-19. Are you going to leave the country? I think you are, but again, under different circumstances. I feel good. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially when situations that are as intense about, where to move and when to do that, I really would want to look at your exact natal chart, because I would want to see what houses are being activated and what planets and things of that nature. However, going back to a very, generalized view of what is going on here is that we have the eclipses that are in your sign now that's what's digging this up. It's like, I need change. I need now. I have to do this now, right now, right now. And it's creating even more difficulty for yourself, because you're placing that upon yourself because you need that. You are being extremely impulsive, and everybody is, has been in lockdowns and restrictions. With all of the things that are going on, with the Mars retrograde that's going to be going forward, with the restrictions that I'm seeing. I mean, literally, we didn't even go into it fully, but there is a huge likelihood of martial law taking place this year in several countries in the not in the United States, in the world. And that's a big thing, is I would not be moving internationally right now. That's not something you should be thinking about when it comes to taking your health and your life into jeopardy. The thing is, I'm not saying that your thoughts are invalid or that your desires are invalid, but using the stars when they're open to you are going to increase your odds of having a happier conclusion. And at the end of the day, I may not know you in person, but I care about you, and I know she does as well, and so does Susan. And we want you to get everything that you want, but sometimes that means we have to wait a little bit for it.
Right, and you don't want to jeopardize your financial situation or your future. And I'm not just saying because it's Costa Rica. I mean, I lived I lived in Switzerland, and let me tell you something. As safe as it was and how beautiful, there are things that happened to me in Switzerland, on the way to Switzerland. I'm not going to go into all of it. So it's just, you got to think street smart. You got to think financially smart. And It's better in what we all see is that you just give it a little more time and a little more thought.
And I really think what it comes down to is within your list, I want you to think about what you want in the next 10 years of your life. Because right now, as we begin this decade, we are having eclipses take place in Sagittarius and Gemini, and we're actually going to conclude the decade with eclipses in Sagittarius and Gemini as well. And so that's a really important way of looking at how we are approaching these cycles in our lives and how it's going to play out. So it is very possible that you don't actually move until later on. But as long as you are thinking about... What was that?
That's really funny you said that, because my best friend is a Gemini and I'm a Sagittarius, and we've been talking, like, we're both in our early 30s right now. We said by the time we're 40, we want to have a business and we want to be out of here. That's really funny you said that.
Well, Drew's with you. We want to leave too. I've been looking into it. It's not easy. Go to thepointsguy.com. It's a travel channel, and they'll tell you.
I know.
The Points Guy, POINTS, like mileage points. Thepointsguy.com. They'll tell you like what the restrictions are to get out of the country, where you can go. And, it might be like a starting point to see when things open up and what you need. But I would totally suggest you wait for the vaccination before you take off.
Absolutely.
Because I'm just telling you, like, you should also, Costa Rica, there's a lot of other things you need to get, Hep C, Hep A, all those ones too. You might as well get all if you're an anti-vaxxer, just forget it.
I got my Hep B vaccine this year.
Okay,
I'm good
to
to go on all that. I actually just to Costa Rica. That's why.
And you're young. I mean, you may get it and be asymptomatic, but it's just it's just for healthcare reasons until we figure out what this virus is going to do to everybody.
Of course. And I wasn't going to go like anytime too soon.
Yeah.
I was just,
well, I'm ready. I'm with you, sister. Drew's like, I don't want to leave the country. Like, let's do it.
What year were you born? What year were you born?
Okay, well,
she said she's 30. What year were you born? What year were you born?
1988.
1988.
Ooh, double eights. Lucky.
Okay. Well, you're past your Saturn return, so never mind. I was just seeing if that was a factor.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling, Jennifer.
No, oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Okay. What do you think? One more? Or are you guys getting tired?
No, I'm not tired. Hey, let's take
How about you, Kyle? How you feeling?
No,
I mean,
I've got food downstairs because I'm getting there. But
I think if there's any other like major predictions that I mean, we talked about.
I know.
The economy, that was a really big thing. I mean, another one of the wild cards. Are you picking up anything about space? There's a lot of big space stuff.
Oh my God, yeah, I wanted to say that about aliens.
Yeah, that's actually, there could be a really big thing there. I mean, there's a lot of space activity.
She has an alien prediction. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be it.
Okay, look, aliens are among us. And I'm not talking about somebody from a different country. I'm talking extraterrestrial. How do you say that?
Extraterrestrial.
Okay. No, they are among us. They've been among us. It's a big secret that they've been among us because they think that we're going to get afraid if we say there's somebody here from, out of this world. Now, I
would believe anything at this point.
Well, I heard somewhere in Holland, there's a whole city that is like these people from other places, and they've what do you call it, inbreed now? They've had kids with humans, like the Neanderthals when they moved, they married into the, what was that? Humanoids or something. I'm laughing because I'm not that educated on aliens, and I don't want to be really, because I don't want them to visit me, and I know that if I talk about them, they'll be right at my door.
Oh God!
But I've actually met a guy at the 118 freeway and the 405 that he was abducted, and he came with his therapist, and I met him. He had a whole interesting story about it.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of activity that's right by my house, actually. And, there is something. I think that we're going to know more about it because maybe they're coming to help us a little bit more, and we won't be freaked out, and it'll be how do I say, introduced to us in a way where we won't be afraid. So I think that it'll be like, in 25 years from now, maybe sooner, it'll be like we'll laugh at being afraid of aliens.
Okay.
So normal.
Well, Jen Schaffer had a wild card for us. Hers was more related to natural disasters.
All right. The next prediction that I want to touch on is something that's just, I always look for natural disasters, or which everybody can probably say that's in their own home.
That was a joke.
For some reason, am being really drawn to Alaska. And that always freaks me out, because then I always think, is it dealing with an oil spill? Is it dealing with something? And I'm getting a clear no, it's not an oil spill, but it's something, and it feels, I keep on seeing a pipe and busting. I'm not sure, but I just saw it doesn't look like oil, but there is something that feels like it's going to, I don't know.
A pipeline?
It's going to affect, probably more, it's going to affect a lot of the coast, and I don't understand why. And for some reason, I got, again, and it could be sooner than later. Something around July. I don't know. And it could be, that could be the glaciers melting. That could be a lot of other things that are happening, but it does feel like July. There's something that is going to be rocky for all of us.
Oh, yay. So I love watching psychics' eyes when they're thinking, because they're looking up and they're using their third eye or whatever. But one time she predicted something, and the next day, literally, it was in the newspaper, and I was just like, oh my God. She knew it was, I can't remember what it was. It was something to do with the Middle East, or it was she said there's going to be, I think there's going to be some germ warfare in Syria or something, literally the next day it was in the newspaper.
Yeah, I think it doesn't have to be a pipeline. Maybe it's some kind of ship or something where they're carrying some kind of oil or chemical or something. I felt more vehicle. I guess a vehicle is a ship. So something like that could be something with a disaster, including like a boat or a ship or something. On a fun note, though, I think we're going to have some interesting. Have you guys watched television now? I hardly ever did, but I've now we're forced to it because I've been watching. Have you guys watched anything on those, like, what are they called when they just keep going on and on and on and there's no commercials? Like, I watched The Last Kingdom. Anybody who hasn't seen The Last Kingdom with Alexander Dramar? Oh my God.
She said she meant Netflix.
Yes. Okay, you guys got to see Alexander Dramar and join his fan club because he is one of the most talented actors and he's cute to boot. But I also watched something with Frankie and Grace with Jane Fonda.
I've seen that.
Yes, that was funny. And what have you guys seen? I think it's great. I think we're going to see an interesting.
The Crown. That was good.
The Crown. And how about you?
I'm trying to think. I mean, right now I'm watching Blue Exorcist with my boyfriend because we like anime. So we're doing that. Obviously, I mean, I was obsessed with Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
I have. Oh my God.
Did you guys see Killing Eve?
No, I haven't.
You have to watch that. That's a long series. That's a binge watch fiesta.
And another
Ozark.
Dead Still or something. It's about this photographer who takes pictures of dead people, and it was really.
Have you seen What Happens in the Dark?
No.
About the vampires. I think it's called What Happens in the Dark. Right? It's called. You got to watch that. That is funny. It's about a bunch of vampires living in the current day.
Have you seen the?
It's right up your alley.
The what?
The Haunting of Hill House. I love that one.
Yeah.
So I watched like the first half like years ago, and then because we've been in quarantine, my boyfriend and I just like to, watch.
There's lots of good stuff to see. I think we watched everything. We're at the point now we need to get out of the country. But I'm going to close this up. I think we're good. You guys have covered up pretty much every angle of what could be happening in the future, and I'm pretty proud of you. You guys have some stamina.
Oh, also one last thing. I think we talked about this before. COVID, I'm fairly certain, was created by a government.
Really?
It was created in a lab. It was actually created for warfare.
It's too smart. That's what I say. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see that because of where the planets were. I'm not pointing fingers at who did it. And I actually don't think, well, I don't want to go there, but I don't want to point fingers at who, but I feel very confident that it was.
Well, and I have an interesting. I've been really holding back because I have I don't want to say on this show, but let's think twice about Jeffrey Epstein and what really happened. So there might be some interesting tidbit about where he really is.
No, I know you. I've picked it up too.
What?
No, I'm not going there.
Yeah, that's some dangerous stuff.
You don't think he's dead?
I'm not saying.
Huh. Oh, did you see that recently?
Let's just leave it for the next episode. What
dun,
really
dun,
happened to Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh God,
And
he's the one that made the COVID-19 virus. No,
No,
I'm kidding.
no.
I think those are unrelated.
You can't blame that on him.
I'm just kidding. Well, you never know. Never know. I don't know. I didn't see his dead body, so I couldn't say.
Well, yeah. I don't think many people did.
Interesting. Well, listen, you guys, you can find Rebecca at RebeccaFearing.com, and she's going to be leaving the country for about a month.
Yeah, I'll be here for a little bit, but hopefully I'll, still be
But we want to wish you a safe and speedy trip. And, and then Kyle is available at KyleThomasastrology.com.
Yes.
Did I remember it off the top of my head? I don't
I
have
love you.
I don't have your banners up. I'm so sorry. Oh, let me see if I can bring those back. Silly me. I didn't have them up, but I had them up at the beginning. So, let me take this down just so you have people can see my head. Okay. All right. I'm going to put your banners up So this is where you can find them, and they're always available for your calls and your questions. And also, you can find Mr. Kyle Thomas on Instagram, Rebecca Fearing on Instagram, Twitter. You know, these guys are out there. Check them out. Get a real reading. Get the whole thing, and we'll be back with them soon. I hope we see you again soon.
Yes, and remember this. I leave you with one word of wisdom. Believe in the possibility of the impossible. I've seen it with my own eyes. It does exist. Right, Kyle?
Absolutely. I 100% believe that.
Well, we love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Susan, for having us. It's been a blast.
Thank you so much, Susan. We are just in love with you. You are the best. And make sure
Aw,
everyone, where can everyone follow you, obviously? I mean,
At First Lady of Love.
Perfect.
I'm always here on the streaming channels. And
how about Drew? What's he?
Drew's, follow. I produce Dose of Dr. Drew and Ask Dr. Drew. And, those are also on these platforms. And I hope, tell a friend about this. We'll be back next week. I'll figure out something fun. And hopefully we'll be back and take some more calls.
Thank you. Bye.
Yay! Oh my God, I have to.